All right, ready to rock?
You bet.
Okay. Welcome to Saving the Association, a special trade deadline recap edition. I'm your host, Tanner Simmons, along with my trusted partner, Brett Vriesman. Brett is mute now, so we'll deal with that later. Brett, we got a lot of exciting trades. There were 28 in total. Did you know that?
28 trades this deadline?
28 trades.
That is a
Thanks to
lot.
ChatGPT. I know that as well. And it felt like in the beginning, I was like, man, some of the bigger stuff's done. I don't know if we're going to see anything the rest of the way. And then it kind of was a continuous stream for about 2 or 3 days straight of transactions, which is our dream. We're going to
Yeah.
cover a few different categories today as far as the trade recap. We have the needle mover, the biggest surprise, which I think there's a couple there, some head scratchers. I see something on your head that might make you also scratch yours. And then those who didn't get traded and the trades we wished we were going to see go down, but did not. So, Brett, let's start first with the biggest needle mover. Who you got?
Ooh, okay. Biggest needle mover. Uh, I think goes down as a tie for me. And I hate to do this to you. But it's got to be the Jaren Jackson Jr. to the Jazz. I think he probably bumps them, into that playoff worthy caliber of team from someone who didn't really a team that, in my opinion, didn't really have direction. Now finally has a little bit more direction between Ace Bailey's progression and Keontae George's kind of immersion as a maybe potential superstar down the
Yeah,
road. Laurie, and then with Kessler kind of holding the fort down in the middle, boy, their front line could be a game changer in the league in terms of what it looks like to have size in it. And yeah, they're really only, in my opinion, a piece away now from next year being pretty dangerous.
yeah,
So I think he moves the needle. The other one, honorable mention, would probably be Cleveland. I think their ceiling with Harden is higher than with Garland. But there's also some bust potential with that trade as well.
sure. I think the JJJ move, Triple J. I got to learn how to say his name now as a fan of the team, what people call him. Jaren. I think Jaren to Utah is interesting because agree that it kind of solves what they've been trying to do as far as building a core of guys. And now I'm scratching my head to know if that final missing piece is coming via the draft this upcoming year, which the Jazz need to do a little bit better job of tanking, or if it's going to come in free agency. We'll have to see. Some of these trades have me kind of rethinking team strategies a little bit, and the Jazz are no exception there. I would say one of the biggest needle movers for that particular franchise, not for us, not for the NBA, it's got to be the Wizards in trading for Anthony Davis. Now, this is a bottom dweller for as long as we can remember. And with the recent acquisition of both Trae Young and Anthony Davis, they're saying we're trying to be at least better. We're trying to be decent. And again, it doesn't move the needle for the rest of the league, but for them and for people cheering for that team, they've got to be like, all right, we've got, two of the top 75 players in the league now, and we've got some other pieces who, could form into something. Now, health is a concern. They
Yeah.
have to be healthy,
They
but
they've got to hope that for 30 games of the year, they could be okay.
that might be 25 more than they are okay for. So I think, again, for that franchise, this moves the needle in a positive direction to at least come out of obscurity and be a play-in type team, which I know sounds sad. And then in the future, if they can build on, getting a couple other pieces to become a somewhat regular staple at the bottom part of that Eastern Conference playoff picture, that's a win for them.
Yeah.
All right. Next, let's talk about the biggest surprise. Who are you shocked to see move? And it may be someone I just mentioned, but who are you kind of surprised to see?
Yeah, just so we don't use the same trade. See, I actually was the opposite of you when it came to the AD trade. I'm like, oh man, like what are you doing? Like you're getting this old injury prone guy to pair next to this young injury prone guy that doesn't play defense. But I'm gonna go ahead and go with my shock one was Zubac
Mm,
from the Clippers. I mean, it's great. I love the trade for Indiana. I think
yes.
Indiana when they get Halliburton back next year, they're gonna be a tough team.
Yes.
Um, but at the same time, Matherin's not a bad player. He's good, has a lot of potential, and maybe as that second guy next to Kawhi, maybe he starts to thrive. I know they have Garland now too, so I think it was kind of a win-win a little bit for both. Clippers get a little bit of draft capital back after giving it all to uh, the Oklahoma City Thunder the last few years, and they also get a young player with still some upside in Matherin. So,
Yeah.
but that one kind of shocked me. I was just like, oh, do any of these teams really need this right now? And then, uh, but yeah, so
I think Indiana's got their sights set on 2027, and they've addressed their center issue. I do think Zubac is a better player than Miles Turner, especially this point in his career. And if they can couple that with a nice pick in this draft, plus a returning Halliburton, Siakam, TJ McConnell coming back, like they've got pieces. They actually show a lot of promise, that, especially in an East that's always wide open. It feels so. I like the move for them. Not entirely sure what the Clippers are doing. And I say that every 3 months. You know, we saw Harden leave as well.
yeah,
Not that I think they should have kept him, but
no.
I'm not entirely sure what I'm on board for as a Clippers fan going forward. That's a little
Yeah.
interesting.
The thing that
Uh,
didn't make sense with the Clippers, in my opinion, was they've been one of the hottest teams in the last month.
yeah,
And it's like, okay, we just won a whole bunch of games. Let's get rid of our best center and our starting point guard, and let's just
I
see what happens. But I think Garland for Harden in long term isn't going to be that bad of a trade. But
no.
it'll be interesting to see if Matherin can become something that allows for them to maintain their momentum that they've had the last month or so.
Yeah, I think the Clippers see potential in him. I think that
Mhm.
a lot of the league has, but that could be a nice building block for them and a decent backcourt to couple with Kawhi for as long as he's going to be good there. But you know, they also got some picks in the deal, and there's an opportunity for them to maybe reset a little as guys like Batum and Lopez are starting to get older, and they know they might have to turn the page. So I don't hate it for them, just because I think they were kind of in mediocrity despite having a good January. But it's still a little head scratching. And
Yeah.
that takes me next to our category of the head scratcher, and I hate to steal your thunder here, but Ayo Dosunmu from the Chicago Bulls traded to Minnesota Timberwolves, where he will thrive, really has me scratching my head. Brett, you're a Bulls fan. What's with the acquisition of 7, 8, 9 guards right now on the roster, and getting rid of a local guy who has nothing but upside as a 26-year-old, you know, budding complimentary star. Like, why are we shipping him out?
Yeah. He's the one player. So the Bulls ended up shipping out, I think, 7 of their top 10 players. Uh, is what they shipped out. And on one right, like Vucevic was on his way out, like he
Sure,
was an
sure,
expiring, and I think getting Anthony Simons for him, that's great. Like I love that
sure,
trade. Getting rid of Kevin Herter and
sure.
picking up Jaden Ivey. Love that trial. You know, seeing if Ivy can kind of come back to form and then maybe resign him. Love that trade. Colin Sexton for Kobe. Is Kobe technically I think a better player? Yeah, maybe, but Colin's comparable and isn't a long term solution. So we'll have that flexibility. The Ayo Dosunmu trade, like I was legitimately mad yesterday, angry because he was one of the three. Him, Modest, and Giddy are probably the three pieces the Bulls have that could be on a winning culture team, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah,
That before the trade. Um, and so he was a two-way player. He shot the ball at 45% from three this year. Chicago homegrown. It just didn't make a lot of sense. Like to me, he's a no-brainer. Re-sign him for 20 to 25 million, 20 million, whatever he's worth, because he's just that kind of a guy. He's a high character guy. Um, and we gave up Julian Phillips too, who is a kind of a promising young wing, athletic wing. And we got back Rob Dillingham.
yeah. Undersized Rob Dillingham.
Yeah, and there's another guy we got. I think we may have already traded him off too. But oh, don't forget about our 9 second rounders that we picked up.
Yes,
That
yes.
was
That was
pretty
one of the
impressive.
winners of this weekend, was second round picks.
So as you can tell, I'm not incredibly thrilled. And the Iowa one doesn't make sense because all you did with Minnesota gave up their scraps and they got a legitimate like starting caliber combo guard
Yeah,
who is gonna like. I now have a new team I'm rooting for in the Western Conference
yeah.
come playoff time because he's that guy.
He
Yeah.
fits that culture, it feels like, right? A little
Oh yeah.
gritty, blue collar,
Yep.
like, man, he's such a great pickup for them. I'm sorry to keep bringing that up for you, but that's a tough loss, and you hope the Bulls have something in mind here in the offseason, because it really doesn't make sense. the acquisition of all these guards in particular for, the remainder of this year. You guys were hanging around 500, doing your thing as you do, and I don't know the plan. So definitely head
Yeah.
scratching to say the least.
I think the other head scratcher if I can get outside my own little Chicago Bulls
Sure.
world, and this isn't necessarily a bad trade, but I'm a little surly being a Bulls fan.
Yeah.
Uh, Jared McCain to the Thunder.
Yeah.
I was like, huh. I know he had a really great rookie season before he tore his ACL, and I think he had a thumb injury or something like that. But they got a first round pick for Jared McCain. We couldn't get a first round pick for Kobe White. Like I'm a little bit jealous, I guess. But to me, I guess from Oklahoma's standpoint, they get take a flyer on a young player that has a cheap contract for the next few years as they start having all these big contracts coming up for their team. But they gave him a first round pick and I think 2 second-round picks for 6.5 per game points per game Jared McCain this year. So that one was kind of like, oh, what's
Hey,
going on
when
there?
you've got an embarrassment of riches, what's a first round pick,
Yeah,
The Thunder have a pretty solid roster, and they're looking for supplemental pieces right now. They're not
yeah,
looking for guys to take Jalen's minutes, to take Shea's minutes, to take Chet's minutes. They're looking for guys to help them and for depth, and that's what they got. And
yeah.
so, yeah, it stinks because you feel like your guys should also be worth that, but your, potential trade partners don't need your guy, and so they're not gonna give you what you need for him. So
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
it's
Give me my
unfortunate.
thing.
So Brett, who were you a little discouraged that you didn't see traded? I know we talked a lot of speculation recently, but who was a guy that you were like, I was sure he was traded, or I really wanted to see this go down?
Well, I think there's like the the one. I'll let you answer. I'll probably say one person. You give your
Sure,
answer. I'll see if we can talk about the Giannis. The one trade I wanted to see happen was Giannis. That was
sure.
like my wish. I wanted to see Giannis go to the Warriors. In fact, I wanted it to be a Giannis and Miles Turner
Mm,
to the Warriors for Kaminga, Jimmy, and like Pajensky or something like that. Like
mm,
or Buddy Hield or add one of those guards in there. And then have the Warriors pretty much just leverage their future where they give them like 4 first-round picks
yes.
along with that, maybe 2 in their favor, 2 in Milwaukee's favor.
Yeah.
But to me, that would have just completely revitalized their season. For Milwaukee, they would have been able to just kind of like
Yeah.
chapters over. Uh, and we got
Thank you
4
for your
future
service.
first
Yes.
rounders. And even if I was Golden State, I would have just even given them 4 in Milwaukee's favor because to have uh, that defensive front court of Draymond, Giannis, and Turner,
Yeah.
and the spacing of Turner, and then the defensive prowess of Giannis and Draymond, both former defensive players of the year. Your team on paper has 2 former MVPs, 2 former defensive players of the year, and you're going to be a matchup nightmare for people. But
What about a fragile Porzingis instead? Doesn't that feel like a better option?
you know what? I do think we talked about needle movers the earlier. I do think if for somehow, some way he could get healthy, he does give them an interesting look now. Uh, in that Kuminga wasn't even playing. Now they've got this 7-foot spacer defender guy that can come and get you 15 to 25 points on a given night. That's
Sure.
nothing to be
If
ashamed of.
if healthy, and I think the whole idea of Porzingis is limp into the playoffs, hope this guy can be there with you because he's shown when he plays, he can be awesome. Little
Yeah.
rim protection, a little floor spacing. Kuminga, like you said, wasn't really heavily a part of the rotation as far as winning goes for them, and that'll be interesting to see. I actually like that for Atlanta too. Moving off of it, just to roll the dice and take a flyer on Kuminga. You've got some fun guys over there. Jock Londale, recent Atlanta acquisition, had 20 plus points last night and a win over the Jazz, who sat all their best players late and still found a way to lose by 2. But yeah, I like that one. I also think I don't like Jaw, but I wanted the Grizzlies to be able to be rid of Jaw. And so for me, I was hoping to see that go down. Really just shows that there aren't any interested partners because I'm sure Memphis is desperately trying to get rid of this guy. But they can't do it for absolutely nothing, right? And
Yeah.
so that's a challenge there. And I just look at some of the younger guys coming in, and I think it's really hard to rebuild culture when someone's very problematic and looks like they're on their way out, and then they're not. and you're like, oh, well, this is awkward. So for their sake, for the organization's sake, I was hoping they'd move off of him, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen, at least for a little while.
Yeah, that one surprised me only because they got rid of Jaren Jackson. And I was like,
Yes.
"Oh, okay, that means Ja's definitely on the way out."
Yep.
And then to keep that guy, you're like, "Oh, that's weird."
So it's one of the more active trade deadlines we've had in a while. At least it feels like it, as far as big names go. How do you feel like where things have settled, that's changing the landscape for the rest of this regular season into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think there's a number of teams, probably at least a handful almost, where that they've definitely set their direction after the deadline.
Yes.
Um, One of those, I think, is Dallas. Seeing the emergence of Cooper Flag, like this is no longer Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving's team. This is
Yeah.
Cooper's team. So we're going to ride with him. And I think just they're starting to set the trajectory for that. Another team, I think Memphis, who was, I think, in the play-in slot or close to it, like, yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
We're waving the white flag. Same with Chicago. We're in the same boat. We've been in mediocrity for the last few years, at least. And they're like, "Yep, we're cleaning house. We're going to tank as much as we can now." But then I think the teams that made the big move, Minnesota. I
Mhm.
really think that one of the things that they lacked was an extra guy that could go get you 15 to 20 points pretty consistently and plays good he fits them like a glove. I think he's going to add a lot
Yeah.
to that team. So Minnesota, I think, took a step forward. Um, and then they might be the one team that I think at the deadline that was already a winning team
Mhm.
took a big step forward. They
Yeah.
added a significant enough player that can um, maybe bump them up a little bit or give them that extra stability.
A couple teams that I thought were interesting at the deadline were Houston and San Antonio because of the moves they didn't make,
Mm.
right? And that tells me they're confident going into the playoffs of like, all right, we like our squad. I understand it more for San Antonio, particularly because they seem to be the kryptonite a little bit, at least in a couple game sample size for OKC. And that's what you're going to have to go through eventually. But Houston, I don't think they wanted to make the wrong move and make a move for the sake of one. They've got Durant, they've got the rest of their roster. They're probably hoping for some bigger things out of Reed Shepard and Amen Thompson later in the year. But I think them not making moves is mostly because they're like, we got our guys, let's roll it out. Let's see how we're looking in the playoffs. Let's not mess with what we have going on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously Denver's another one, and even OKC making a very small tweak and not losing any personnel as a result. These teams they're locked in, and Minnesota needs, like you said, they know they need to do something to change and have a shot. So the West is looking tight. It's looking good. You've got teams falling out, but those top contenders are pretty happy, I think, with where they are. Brett, one omission that we made. Your guy, Kid Rock, was trying to be traded for the halftime show. Didn't look like that's going to happen officially. Sorry for you on that one. Looks like it's
Yeah.
still Bad Bunny, but maybe next year we can kind of see who they can put out there.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely heartbroken
Yeah,
by that. All the great Kid Rock ballads of our adolescence.
for
It's-
sure.
yeah.
Can't win them all. That's right. If we missed any trade splashes, any exciting stuff that you feel like was definitely noteworthy, leave a comment below. Let us know who you are excited about. Let us know if you're pissed that your team didn't do something or if they did the wrong thing. Again, sorry, Brett, if you don't feel happy with that. And like and subscribe, share this with a friend. We'll be back next week. See you guys.